Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is SYAFIQAH binti BAKAR. I would like to begin my group presentation with my topic, which is the function of cardiovascular system. The cardiovascular system consists of the heart, blood vessels and blood. Cardiovascular means pertaining to the heart and blood vessels. These structures work together to efficiently pump blood to all body tissues. Blood is a fluid tissues that transports oxygen and nutrients to the body tissues. Blood returns some waste products from these tissues to the kidneys and carries carbon dioxide back to the lungs. Blood cells also play important roles in the immune system and in the endocrine system.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is ATHIRAH QURRATU'AINNI binti JAIRULSHAH, and now I will be presenting about the structures of the cardiovascular system. The major structure of the cardiovascular system are the heart, blood vessel and blood. The human heart is roughly the size of a fist, and it weighs about 300 grams and beats 60 to 80 times per minute throughout your entire lifetimes and pump 5 to 6 liters of blood throughout your body. The pericardium, also known as the pericardial sac, is the double-walled membranous sac that encloses the heart. Membranous means pertaining to membrane, which is a thin layer of a pliable tissue that covers or encloses a body part. The parietal pericardium is a fibrous sac that surrounds and protects the heart. Pericardial fluid is found between these two layers, where it acts as a lubricant to prevent friction as the heart beats. Meanwhile, the visceral pericardium is the inner layer of the pericardium that also forms the outer layer of the heart. When referred to as the outer layer of the heart, it is known as the epicardium. The walls of the heart are made of these three layers, which is epicardium, myocardium, and endocardium. The epicardium is the external layer of the heart and the inner layer of the pericardium. The myocardium is the middle and thickest of the heart's three layers, also known as myocardial muscle. This consists of specialized cardiac muscle tissue that is capable of the constant contraction and relaxation that creates the pumping movement necessary to maintain the flow of blood throughout the body. The endocardium, which consists of epithelial tissue, is the inner lining of the heart. This is the surface that comes into direct contact with the blood as it being pumped through the heart. The myocardium, which beats constantly, must have a continuous supply of oxygen and nutrient plus prompt waste removal to survive. If for any reason this blood supply is disrupted, the myocardium of the affected areas will die. The coronary arteries supply oxygen-rich blood to the myocardium. Meanwhile, the veins remove waste product from the myocardium. The chambers of the heart. The heart is divided into 4 chambers, and each of which has a specialized function. The atria are the 2 upper chambers of the heart, and these chambers are divided by the interatrial septum. The atria are the receiving chambers, and all blood enters the heart through these chambers. The ventricles are 2 layers chambers of the heart, and these chambers are divided by the interventricular septum. The walls of the ventricles are thicker than those of the atria because the ventricles must pump blood throughout the entire body. The term ventricle is also defined as normal hollow chamber of the brain. The valve of the heart. The flow of blood through the heart is controlled by 4 valves as described in this section. If any of these valves are not working correctly, blood cannot flow properly through the heart and cannot be pumped effectively to all parts of the body. The tricuspid valve controls the opening between the right atrium and the right ventricle. The term tricuspid means having 3 cups of points, and this describes the shape of the bar of this valve. The tricuspid valve controls the opening between the right atrium and the right ventricle. The term tricuspid means having 3 cups, and this describes the shape of the valve. The pulmonary valve is located between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery. Pulmonary means pertaining to the lungs. The mitral valve is located between the left atrium and left ventricle. Mitral means shaped like a bishop mitral, and this valve is also known as the bicuspid valve because bicuspid means having 2 cups, which describe the shape of this valve. The aortic valve is located between the left ventricle and the aorta.
Blood is pumped through the systemic and pulmonary circulation system. Together, the blood in this system brings oxygen to the cells and removes waste products from the cells. Pulmonary circulation is the flow of blood only between the heart and lungs. The pulmonary arteries carry the deoxygenated blood out of the right ventricle and into the lungs. This is the only place in the body where the deoxygenated blood is carried via the arteries instead of veins. In the lungs, carbon dioxide from the body is exchanged for oxygen from the inhaled air. The pulmonary veins carry the oxygenated blood from the lungs into the left atrium of the heart. This is the only place in the body where veins carry the oxygenated blood. Systematic circulation. It includes the flow of blood to all parts of the body except the lungs. Oxygenated blood flows out of the left ventricle and into arterial circulation. The veins will carry deoxygenated blood into the right atrium. From here, the blood flowing into the pulmonary circulation before being pumped out of the heart into the arteries again. So we here have the heartbeat. The heartbeat is the ability to pump blood effectively throughout the body. The contraction and relaxation of the heart must occur in exactly the correct sequence. The rate and regularity of the heartbeat is determined by the electrical impulse from the nerves that stimulate the myocardium of the chambers of the heart. The specialized myocardial muscle that make the pumping action possible are described in Chapter 4. Also known as the conduction system, these electrical impulses are controlled by the sinoatrial node SA and atrioventricular node AV and the bundle of His. Next, we will explain about this more. So, the sinoatrial node. Sinoatrial node is located in the posterior wall of the right atrium near the entrance of the superior vena cava. The SA node establishes the basic rhythm and rate of the heartbeat. For this reason, it is known as the natural pacemaker of the heart. An electrical impulse from the SA node starts each wave of muscle contraction in the heart. The impulse in the right atrium spreads over the muscle of both atria, causing them to contract simultaneously, and this contraction forces blood into the ventricles. Right up, we have the atrioventricular node. The impulse from the SA just now also travels to the atrioventricular node. The AV node is located on the floor of the right atrium near the interarterial septum. From here, it will be transmits the electrical impulse onward to the bundle of His. So, the bundle of His is a group of fibers located within the interventricular septum. These fibers carries an electrical impulse to ensure the sequence of the heart contraction. This electrical impulse will travel onwards to the right and left ventricle and the Purkinje fibers. So, what is Purkinje fibers? Purkinje are specialized conductive fibers located within the walls of the ventricles. These fibers, named for Jan Purkinje, relay the electrical impulse to the cells of the ventricles, and it is the stimulation that causes the ventricle to contract. This contraction of the ventricle will force blood out of the heart and into the aorta and pulmonary arteries.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is SYAFIQAH binti SULAIMAN and I am going to explain about the electrical wave. The activities of the electrical conduction system of the heart can be visualized as a wave movement on a monitor or as an electrocardiogram, EKG or ECG. The term sinus rhythm refers to the normal beating of the heart. The P wave is due to the stimulation of the arteria. The QRS complex shows the stimulation of the ventricles. The atria relax as the ventricles contract. The T wave is the recovery of the ventricles.
The arteries are large blood vessels that carry blood away from the heart to the origins of the body. The walls of the arteries are composed of 3 layers, and these structures make the arteries muscular and elastic so they can expand and contract with the pumping beat of the heart. The term endarterial means within an artery or pertaining to the inner portion of an artery. Arterial blood is bright red in color because it is oxygen rich. The pumping action of the heart causes blood to spurt out when an artery is cut. The aorta is the largest blood vessels in the body. It begins from the left ventricle of the heart and forms to the main trunk of the arterial system. The carotid arteries are the major arteries that carry blood upward to the head. The common carotid artery is located on each side of head. It divides into the internal carotid artery, which brings oxygen-rich blood to the brain. The external carotid artery brings blood to the face. Any disruption in this blood flow can result in a stroke or other brain damage. The arterioles are the smaller, thinner branches of arteries that deliver blood to the capillaries. As blood enters one end of the capillary bed, the rate of flow of arterial blood slows. Capillaries, which are only one epithelial cell in thickness, are the smallest blood vessels in the body. The capillaries form networks of expanded vascular bags that have the important role of delivering oxygen and nutrients to the cells of the tissues. The capillaries further slow to the flow of blood to allow plasma to flow into the tissues. It is here that the exchange of oxygen, nutrients, and waste materials occur within the surrounding cells. After leaving the cells, 90% of this fluid, which is now oxygen poor and contains some waste products, enter the opposite end of the capillary bed through the venules. The 10% of this fluid that is left behind in the tissue become lymph. Based on the photo in this slide, oxygen-rich arterial blood is delivered by arterioles to the capillaries. After the oxygen has been extracted, the oxygen-poor blood is returned to circulation as venous blood.
Veins form a low-pressure collecting system to return oxygen-poor blood to the heart. Veins are the smallest veins that join to form the larger veins. The walls of the vein are thinner and less elastic than those of the arteries. The venous blood continues its flows at an increased speed as it continues its return journey to the heart. Venous means relating to or contained in the vein. Veins have valves that enables blood to flow only towards the heart and to prevent it from flowing away from the heart. Superficial veins are located near the body surface. Deep veins are located within the tissues and away from the body surface. Based on the picture that I put, show that veins contain valves to prevent the backyard flow of the blood. External view of the vein show wider area of valves. Internal view with the valves open as blood flows through it towards the heart. Internal view with the valves closed to prevent the backflow of blood. The vena cavae are the two largest veins in the body. These are the veins that return blood into the heart. The superior vena cava transport blood from the upper portion of the body to the heart. The inferior vena cava transport blood from the lower portion of the body to the heart.
The pulse is the rhythmic pressure against the walls of an artery caused by the contraction of the heart. Blood pressure is the measurement of the amount of systolic and diastolic pressure exerted against the walls of the arteries.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is FATHIYYAH binti Muhammad RASMAWI. I'm going to present about the component of blood. Blood is the fluid tissue in the body. It is composed of 55% of liquid plasma and 45% from element blood cell and platelets. Plasma is the liquid portion of the blood and straw color that contain nutrient, hormone, and waste product. Plasma is 92% of water. The remaining 8% is consists mainly of protein, including the clotting protein. It have two components of plasma. Number one is serum. Serum is plasma fluid after the blood cells and the clotting protein been removed. Number 2 is fibrinogen. Fibrinogen and prothrombin are the clotting protein found in plasma. They have an important role. Plasma is the liquid portion of the blood and straw color. Next is leukocytes. Leukocytes, also known as white blood cells. It involved in defending the body against infective organisms and foreign substances, means white and cytes. There are 5 major groups of leukocytes. The number 1 is neutrophils. Neutrophil is a type of white blood cells that is an important part of the immune system and help body fight infection. Number 2 is basophils. Basophils are types of white blood cells too. However, they are the largest type of granulocytes. Number 3 is lymphocytes. Lymphocyte is identify foreign substances and germs in body and produce antibodies that specially target them. Number 4 is eosinophils. Eosinophil is the cell destroy parasitic organism and play a major role in allergic reaction. And the last one is monocytes. Monocyte is surround and kill microorganisms, remove dead cells, and immune.
Erythrocytes, also known as red blood cells, are matured red blood cells produced by the red bone marrow. Erythro means red and cytes means cells. The primary roles of these cells is to transport oxygen to the tissues. The oxygen is transported by hemoglobin, which is the oxygen-carrying blood protein pigment of the erythrocytes. Hemo means blood and globin means protein.
The last one is thrombocytes. Thrombocytes are pieces of very large cell in the bone marrow called megakaryocytes. They help from blood clots to slow or stop bleeding and to help wounds heal. Having too many or too few thrombocytes or having platelets that doesn't work as they should can cause problems.